VTuber Pipkin Pippa has recently found themselves in some controversy. If you aren't aware of who they are, they're pretty much the 4chan Gooner's answer to VTubing, who has been endorsed by the likes of Mr. Metica.
We got 2 callers in at once.
Whoa, a threesome, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, chat's loving it. Chat's enthralled with it right now.
Jim, would you like to touch my feet?
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, I didn't give a $50 bajillion super chat during the stream.
And they do pretty much what you'd expect from a content creator of this niche. Recently, Pippa has taken to Twitter to criticize Jack's Films. Last year, Jack's Films went after TikTok reactor Sniper Wolf, and now they're back, going after a friend of Pippa's called Fillion.
Fillion is doing that thing where they're taking memes from Reddit and elsewhere, just reposting them with, very lazy captions. They're like, when I was checking this out earlier, I saw like 3 LOLs in a row. So let me see if I can find them. So there's a yeah, there's LOL, real. These are all things that ReactBot says, by the way. Yeah.
So Pippa took to Twitter to write, Jack's Films is a drama channel along the lines of Keemstar, but somehow creepier. Along with this, she shared a YouTube video called Jack's Films, Hypocrisy and BetterHelp Scandals, which is a critique of Jack's Films taking sponsorship deals with online therapy platform BetterHelp. One commenter remarks about BetterHelp saying, I can't believe BetterHelp had the audacity to come back to the surface like it has been lately. To be honest, when you've been caught 3 times now, just give up. Back on the main thread, a commenter writes, surely this tweet has nothing to do with this video he just uploaded, where he rightfully criticizes your friend Fillion for lazy Reacts content. Pippa simply responds to that, saying, yes, sharing a gif of Sniper Wolf waving. One commenter responds saying, doesn't Jack's Films do React content too? Is he somehow less lazy? And then the original poster writes, his main argument was that it should be more transformative. Kind of just hanging out in the bottom right of the screen whilst videos play is not exactly derivative content. EB writes, they want them to link the random content creator from 8 years ago and shout them out, or else they're an evil, lazy creator. This is such a nothing burger, it's not even funny. To which Largo Lento responds saying, are you seriously against crediting content? Then Isnelman responds to that saying, is that always morally unacceptable? I don't find something like quoting Shakespeare to be unacceptable, for example, and I don't think you would either for that matter. Extra Corpicus writes, all of Jack's content is also just reacts, it comes off incredibly hypocritical. Jessica writes, Pippa also in the past said the exact same thing about reactors, but guess what? You cannot agree with what someone else does and still be friends with them. Pippa can still be friends with her and not like the reaction content. Crazy concept, I know. Another commenter writes, he just lost his gold-laying goose Sniper Wolf, so he needs a new target. He could go for Hassan, but he knows he would get destroyed. So he went for an easier target. Justin Reed writes, honestly, I think it was a bad representation of Fillion's content overall. Yes, she does do React content, and there was the merchandising incident a little while ago, but she does a lot more than what Jack puts in the video. I'm not saying it's slanderous, but his points seem cherry-picked. And just for a side note, Fillion's merchandising incident is in reference to her allegedly ripping off an artist when they were creating merch. Another commenter writes, clearly they watched none of her videos. This is her eating as a punishment, and most of the time her mouth is full. If they would have checked any other videos on her channel, they'd see her usual content. Cherry picking at its finest. Fillion is hilarious. She does reacts better than most because of the sheer amount of effort she puts in. Jack's Films comes off as a douchebag who's very full of himself and reforms and fixes other content creators. I've lost a lot of respect for him over this. Potion Dweller writes, you don't understand Pippa. She used other people's memes. To which Pippa responds saying, oh god, you can't just repost other people's memes. What the To which we get a few reaction memes which are on the screen here. Red Noct writes, Pippa, I know you care for your friends, but you don't want to keep this stance. Fillion deserves to be criticized. Jack does not. Pippa responds to that by saying, Jack is a grifter who exploited people's mental health vulnerabilities for his own financial gain knowingly, but LARPed as a moral crusader fighting for the people. Roger Jack responds to that by saying, how did he do that? Also, how is he going along the lines of Keemstar? I mean, Keemstar falsely accused people and has evidence of exploiting people. How is he creepier? This feels like an overreaction to criticism because the person being criticized is a close friend of yours. Pippa Pipkin writes back saying, look up his BetterHelp sponsorships. He's creepier because he obsesses over people like Sniper Wolf by posting videos about her constantly. The Great Bones writes L take. EB writes W take. The Great Bones asks why. EB writes, he's going after Fillion for one of her media share streams, calling it lazy content. Lil Bro needs to pipe down. Great Bones responds saying, so because he chose to treat a VTuber the same as he treats other people, is he suddenly a bad guy? Not to mention how he handled it with care. Media share streams from anyone are inherently lazy. Sigma writes, there's a really weird bias towards VTubers on this app. It's like they can do no wrong according to these freaks, and anyone who criticizes them once should be shunned for all eternity. Greenleaf responds saying, sounds like her saying he's a hypocrite is true. Why doesn't he credit people when he steals content? And she shares a tweet saying, Jax Films just uploaded a video where he steals Linkin Park's instrumental with no mention or credit anywhere. The Great Bones responds to this saying, the point of his videos is that they aren't transforming the content that they are using, so they should be crediting the original creators. He transformed the content, therefore it's not the same thing. Greenleaf responds to that saying, no, the point is to credit the people when you use their work, which he doesn't do. In response to Pippa's comparison to Keemstar, Harmony writes, Jack is infinitely worse and more insufferable. At least Keemstar is honest about being an a-hole. Jax Films is such a fake and condescending loser who is obsessed with the perfect React content that will never be a thing. Once the genie is out the bottle, you can't put it back. Joe Schmo responds saying, Keemstar is actively the biggest asshole in the world, and he's done so many abhorrent things. To be honest about it doesn't make it better. Jack has issues, mainly with BetterHelp, but it hardly compares to Keem. Squishy responds saying, checked out both recently because of this. Yes, Jack is another Keemstar, but the Keemstar guy is honest about being scum, and Jack isn't, so I'd say Jack is worse because he wants people to believe he is the morally correct person when he just does drama garbage too. Pleasant Milkshake writes, you realize the amount of genuinely evil things Keem has done during his long-ass career. The magnitude of evil is not comparable. Keemstar being honest does absolutely nothing for him. Holofan writes, come on, this is cope. You only care because he started talking about Fillion. You're pulling this criticism out of your ass. Return of John Paul writes, I actually think both Fillion and Jack's films suck. They continue to say, she's made enough money to commission her own VR chat model. They're not that expensive. Yet she doesn't because she'd rather profit and make merch off an asset that she didn't even pay for in the first place. And your criticism of Jack is valid and I agree. Joe Schmo responds to that saying, I have a strong feeling for your stated motivation for why she hasn't commissioned a model is not true because it makes no sense whatsoever. Also, most of what Pippa said about Jack is kind of dumb, though the BetterHelp does seem to hold some water. Return of John Paul responds saying, well, there's no other reason for her to commission a model. She's just profiting off somebody else's art with no credit. As someone who literally does VR chat 3D modeling stuff, I find it reprehensible the way she treats the VR chat avatar creating community. Amunit responds to Pippa writing, and you are a literal Kiwi Farms VTuber that grifted her way to viewership by pretending to be right wing, and then backpedaling after getting big enough. Weevil responds to that by saying, when did Pippa ever call herself right-wing? If anything, she's apolitical, but calls out the BS when she sees it, regardless if it's political or not. One commenter writes, oh, a rare Pippa post I don't agree with. I know Fillion is your friend, but everything Jack's film said is true. Plus, he offered some great advice. Honestly, calling him creepy is kind of in poor taste. One user retweeted Pippa and wrote, how exactly was he creepier than a slur-slinging transphobe when he gave genuine criticism, complimented Fillion on good ideas, and actually encourages people he does bingos on rather than put them down? You are a hypocrite grasping at straws because your friend got slightly criticized. And they shared this clip from Jack's films.
You know, it's not grand. It's not ideal. Okay, but I have faith in you. I really do. I don't mean to sound like sarcastic or condescending. I really don't. I have faith in you because I've seen the good ending happen before. Azzyland is a good ending where Azzyland was watching these stupid bingo streams last year, and then she started to recognize like, oh shit, I do a lot of these things Jack is calling Sniper Wolf out for. And so instead of Azzyland, you know, blowing up and getting mad and saying, you know, Jax Films. No, she tweets out like, yo, I recognize a lot of the same things I do. And I should fucking stop doing that. I reached out to Azzyland. We had this beautiful collab where we kind of like talked about her old reactions, like what worked and what didn't work. And it was wonderful. So, Fillion, I'm genuinely rooting for you. I know you can do better because if you can rig this like avatar, which I know a lot goes into, like a lot of tech goes into that, like that's fucking cool. I genuinely have respect for VTubers that can like do the things that you do. I just don't think that these reactathons are the right vehicle for your VTube avatar. You know what I'm saying? We're always hoping for the good ending.
They go on to write, Jax Films is not a drama channel. He hosts community bingos on submitted channels by his community and encourages nothing but love. He wants the platform as a whole to get better. He platforms smaller creative channels constantly and even got doxxed by a massive YouTuber for it. WrestleCage Entertainment writes, tell the world you have never watched a single Jax Films video without saying you haven't watched a single Jax Films video. Calling him a drama channel because he called out a close friend of yours in Fillion when his videos are the complete opposite of drama is a big reach. And Tasha just writes, VTubers never beating the brain dead allegations. And that just about does it for today. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a like. If you disliked the video, please make sure to leave a dislike. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with the latest drama. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this situation. And we will see you in the next video.